before I tell you what became of our brave hero and heroine, who set out to defeat a god, the goddess of death, no less. Let's first peer back to another story, the story of another hero in the making. Long before the star fell, throwing the whole realm into chaos, another struggle was taking place in the far reaches of the land. It was a quieter struggle, fought in the shadows, and away from the prying eyes of civilization, stemming from deep within the desolate corners of the Paradox Gardens, one of the deeply forested regions of Arcavios. An infection was festering there, spreading into the wilds, turning beasts and plants alike into hideous, unearthly monstrosities, changing their nature and forms, mutating them, and leaving them hideous aberrations of their former selves. It was abominable, a mockery of nature and the natural order of things. It was the beginning of the Feywild invasion, an insidious threat that, if not halted, had the potential to spread throughout the whole Arcavios within a matter of years, with devastating consequences. Luckily, Paradox Gardens was also home to countless druids, and no true druid in the realm would stand idly and watch while their forests, their homes, were destroyed. And thus began a war between the guardians of nature and the chaotic forces of the Feywild. As fate would have it, a young druid of the Minotaur race was passing through the Paradox Gardens at the time. He was completing a rite of passage, a tradition long held, and he stumbled upon the struggle. He saw the dire situation laid bare before him, and though he too was a druid with all that entails, he was also a graduate of Strixhaven. It was clear how vain the resistance was in the face of a threat so ubiquitous. It was plain to him, even in those early stages, that it was a losing battle. That fledgling hero had a choice that day. Find another forest to complete his 5-year exile, or stand with his brethren and meet the same fate to which they were bound. He chose the latter. The days that followed the failed assassination attempt were ominous for our heroes, enough to make even the neophyte Ravenhunters wary. No longer do they fly together. No longer do they flaunt their identities. Dark cloaks adorn their backs, and their faces remain covered. For every step they take, dark shadows stalk them, pursuing them like hounds on a trail of blood. And people whisper dark tidings. Raven Queen is on. When Malastair flies on swift, the majestic giant eagle, it is not for enjoyment or whimsy, but to spot the lurking danger that so insistently pursues them. Hammond rides Thorn, a blue drake, and his other mount, but not to display his mastery of beasts, or for the wonder it evokes when seen by passers-by. It is done to avoid witness, and to maneuver through the forest stealthily. And so it is that they journey to Sakoe, Hammond's hometown, a ruin being reconstructed after years of abandonment. It is only the second time our hero returns to his home. Homecomings were bittersweet following the Hydra attack. An attack in which he lost his father and home over a decade ago. It was a day lived by a boy that shaped all the days after, and the man he inevitably grew to be. The town of Sakoe has been known as the town of bazaars, and as Hammond traversed that forest route, he could not help but reminisce on the memories that colored his earliest days. He couldn't help but remember those he had met, and the relationships forged during that time, many of whom he had lost to that twist of fate. By now, they neared their destination, where there was hope that a potential ally awaited their arrival. However, neither knew that another surprise was approaching them at that very moment. Least of all Hammond, whom the surprise was to hit the hardest. Malistaire, from her vantage, could see Ham moving upon his large reptilian steed, weaving in and out of trees in a leisurely but graceful gait, a pace contrasted against the freedom and fleetness she had been granted by Swift and the open skies. Malistaire's view was vast. From on high, the landscape spread before her like a grand tapestry. It was an arrangement that had often worked in their favor over the last several days. The Grove of Eljor, although a natural forest, was one of the thickest and deadliest in all of Arcavios. It harbored more than its fair share of wild beasts, elementals, and monstrosities, making it lethal for most to traverse. Even still, Malistaire doubted that anything deadlier than a former avatar was roaming that forest then. But she had found Hammond insistent on avoiding unnecessary bloodshed, which had come as a surprise, but one she didn't mind. It was a novelty and a divergence from her former life. Every day since they had started on this path, they had to circle at least one area or another to avoid confronting territorial creatures. Not today, however. Not till now. And Mal had to wonder what might have been causing it. Could it be the animals were still afraid of going near Sakoway, the lair of the Hydra for so many years, even though it was gone now? Or was it something else that was causing the animals to be unusually quiet? She had her answer when she saw a disturbance coming their way from the southeast. Something was moving through the forest, cutting across it in a straight line towards Sakoway, and it was about to cross Hammond's path.